No. Now, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes,
Yep,
we can hear you, yes.
hear you as well. Cheers.
Okay. Previously, you cannot hear me, right?
Okay, we can hear you now. I'm not sure if we could before, but we certainly can now.
Okay, let me check. I'm using now. Hello?
Yep, we can hear you again.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Today, I'm going to give you some guidance on how to get the cloud risks. Okay. Now, there are two modes of assessing the cloud. One is either you assess the clouds based on your research. The other way of assessing the cloud is using a government tool. If you can, guys, anyone volunteer who can share his screen, a browser with me, I can exactly guide you. It will be much easier. Who wants to share? Any volunteers who can share the screen with the browser? Irene is great. Just a browser. Okay, Irene, just write cloud risk. It's in Chinese. Cloud risk. Risks. RISKS. Space. Government of New Zealand. No, Government of New Zealand. Yeah. Yeah. Just click that. New Zealand Government Cloud Risk. Perfect. Go there. Risk assessment for public cloud services. You're using the public cloud services, right? So maximize this screen and go down. Risk discovery tool for public cloud services. Can you click this? There will be an Excel sheet. Scroll down. Yeah. It explains you how to use the Excel sheet. There should be an Excel sheet here.
Is it the zip file, or is it something else?
It could be zip file or Excel sheet. It is there.
Yeah, there's something called Cloud Risk Discovery Tool. Would that be it?
Yeah, that's the one. I'm making your life much easier with that. Yeah, just click that. Let's see what happens. Yeah, scroll down. Risk discovery tool on the left side, just click that. Risk discovery tool on the left side. Yeah. Yeah, you will have some Excel. So there are two stages in it. Yeah, zip file. Download this. No, the first one, and
Yeah,
there's a
it's
guidance
Excel.
yeah, and there's a guidance and there's unsorted questions. Now, this cloud discovery file is really good, but you have to fill in some information and rest it will do it. If you are using Mac, it will not work. If you're using Windows machine, it will work. Okay. Now, with a cloud discovery tool, what happens is that it actually gets the information from the government sites and what could be the possible risks in the cloud. So it reduces your workload to a certain extent, but you have to do your own research because there is an assignment in cloud computing where you have to assess the risk of the cloud. Now, with this risk tool, it will in the end give you a risk, automatically generate the risks. Make sure that your system is connected to internet. Okay. Now, there are two types of things in it. One is the guidance that it will tell you how to do it. One are unsorted questions. So you have to go through this, read it, and then you apply this on the Excel sheet. If your computer says that it is running macro, okay, so don't worry about that. Allow that macro to run because this tool is used by everyone in New Zealand, especially the government agencies. And this tool is really good when it comes to the assessment of cloud risks. Now, in which context you're going to use this? Now you're using cloud for you have different companies in management of ICT, and you have also same companies for your hot topic, and you're creating some product based on that. You will use this cloud tool to generate the risks for specific company that you're working with, right? So don't put the company name in the cloud assignment, just put the risk that you think that this could be most appropriate. So when you open the sheet, you can always enter the data in there. Um, Irene, can you download the tool, please? Have you downloaded that?
I've put it in chat, Rizwan, for
Yeah.
anyone to copy.
Yeah. Have you tried, David? Have you tried this tool before?
No, but I can see it's an Excel sheet, so it should be pretty straightforward.
Yeah. I'll cancel.
The one I've put in the chat is uncompressed. I've already uncompressed it.
Okay. Irene will go according to her speed of style. She is hardworking. She will open. Yeah, computer is very slow. Okay, now you have to enable editing. Now, this is really good tool. I want you to take time and look at the instructions that it has on the website. It will ask you different questions based on business context and screening questions for your assessment and report generic risk. It will generate the generic risk for you. And these risks are automatically generated. And with these risks, it will also provide you with the mitigation controls. Okay. So try this. Now you need to read it from the website. It actually tells you how to do it. It's much easier. Just project, say, put your project name as cloud computing class and so on, and put whatever the Tesla information you can have, you can put over here, but don't put the Tesla name, but put their cloud services. Now in the middle, you have to select only yes or no. Okay. So has the business owner of the information been identified? You say in the middle, you say yes or no. So look at your case study, which you have taken, whether the business owner has been identified. You are the business owner. You can say yes in the middle. You don't change any questions here. So in the middle, if you see, you will find Y and N, and it will change to yes or no. So you answer these questions. Once you answer this question, this Excel is going to automatically generate the information. So it's the middle layer only, okay? The yes or no. You see this yes or no in the middle? Yeah, click one box in question number one. Yeah, yeah, select yes. So you have to answer this question based on yes or no, okay? Now this will also, if you see the second question, is have the business process that are supported by the information been identified? This will also help you when you are doing the management of ICT, whether you have identified business processes or not. When you put yes over here, because you know the processes in Tesla, what could be the processes available in um, recognition, face recognition, or what are the processes available in other companies. Okay. So you answer this question based on your product. You don't need to fill right one. You just need to fill the middle one. That's it. Just try this. Just put it there and then see whether it generates the fill all the yes, no, no, yes. Just take it at random and see whether it generates anything or not. No, it should automatically come. You don't need to do anything here. So have you saved the file? Yeah, it's done. So it should come. Yeah, click next. It should come. There should be some missing information left. So if you go to the introduction, go to introduction on the left. It will, yeah. So business context. Can you, first thing is how to use this tool, right? This is how you do it. Data, not formulas, data. You need to refresh. Go to data. Yeah, refresh now. Refresh all. Just do it. Yeah. Now see if you get something. Yeah, it's working. Okay, say okay. Don't worry. Go down and click the next. See if you have anything new. Go to generic risk, click next to screening, go to generic risks. Yeah. Click next. So these are the generic risks, and these are the suggested generic controls based on those risks. So go back to generic risk, click the tab generic risk, and I'll tell you, okay? Yeah, okay. Now, guys, listen to me very carefully. You have done this thing. It's the easiest thing I can give it to you. It's used by the government, by agencies in New Zealand, and these are part of their risk assessment portfolio. Now, it has come up with some 13 risks. First is privacy, because you're putting some information. Now, whatever you put in a screening question, whether yes or no, it will come up with some risk over here. If you incorrectly answer the question, it will give you incorrect risk. So you have to remove the false positive. Here you have to work hard or brainstorm each other, all of group members, and they should come up with these, with which risks are applicable to your organization. Privacy is always applicable because it's there. Disclosure, yeah, information should not be disclosed. Service continuity, which is based on availability. How long you're going to retain the data, it depends on, like, for example, if you have David, what's your project in hot topic?
Yeah, so it's using AI to do call quality.
Yes, call. So how long you're going to retain the data? So this is what it come up with some risk. Unauthorized access, that your system can be unauthorizedly accessed by somebody else. Uncontrolled cost, because you're using cloud. What happens in the cloud, that if you're not controlling it, it will go out of your way.
So I guess we would potentially look at things like, when do we consider that it goes into storage, like Glacier, or when do we consider it sits in another product? So obviously on Amazon Cloud, they offer like 4 different main services, and they offer different times of how, when the information is accessible. So we would have to look at those and sort of say, which in the real world, which one of these do we think do we need? And then if we need to store anything long term, then obviously we can do that without allowing access to it for everyone, but only certain people.
Yeah, that's correct. There's one thing that you need to work on, is based on cloud environment, cloud computing, right?
Yeah.
Now, Amazon has cloud computing environment, and its architecture sometimes tells you how to save the money.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's also different ways of doing it that are more cost
Yeah.
effective. Yeah, no, I understand that. Yeah, I've done the
Yeah.
modules. So so we have to weigh up the pros and cons of security, versus cost versus accessibility. So if we determine once the AI has done its thing and it's done its scorecards, maybe we only need those to be able to be recalled for training initially. So then we might say we'll have that accessible for say a month or 2 months, for argument's sake, and then we might say after that 2-month period, we still need to keep the call in case there's a complaint, like a customer complaint, but we don't need to keep it accessible for everyone because the chance of someone complaining and after that period are quite slim. So we can then put it into say Glacier, for argument's sake, because we don't really need it. We just need it to be stored somewhere. Or we might say, well, we'll actually download it and put it onto a different type of backup, like a tape backup or something. Like I'm just making things up, but those are the pros and cons that we would look at.
Wait, I'll tell you. Okay, there are no tape backups in cloud. Okay, now you will look into the architectures of cloud. So there are two things for you. One is S3 bucket, and one is Glacier. Glacier is your tape thingy.
Yeah, it's the long term
cold storage where you can store in binary format and it does not cost you much. So in other words, when you are doing the risk assessment, you also look into the architecture. How can you save the money for the company? Right? This is the second part of your assignment, which works on how you are actually saving the money, and it goes for cost analysis. There is a cost module in AWS also. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you are right on the spot. There is no doubt, David. You're doing very good. So uncontrolled cost, Mayur. Then we go to the control of information, and you are right on this also. If you don't want to keep that information, you could archive that information in a way that it is stored in that's stored to reduce the cost for you. If you store it in S3 bucket, it will increase the cost. Secondly, there are some domains in cloud. In AWS, cloud charges per gigabyte for any storage, ins and out. So you have to design your architecture in such a way that there are some virtual machines talking to the other virtual machines where your transmission of information that relates to database or relates to storage is free. You have to find that. You have to find a way to make sure that the things are less cost effective. It should be good enough for you guys. Okay. Did you get my point?
Yeah. So you want to look at the operational costs and reduce them as much as possible.
The problem with the companies right now is they don't care about operational costs. They just build up the architecture and they don't care because the company has money. They don't consider that company is their own company. You consider the company as your own company, then you are going to save the cost, because there you become a very good efficient architect for cloud computing rather than going into an architect who is not saving the cost. In the long run, is going to affect that. Did you get my point?
Yep, Polly. Yeah, if someone has a solution that costs a lot of money but works, and then someone can do the same thing for a fraction of the price, then the one who can do it for a fraction of the price is the one you're going to employ.
Yeah, that's correct. You are at the right spot. And I tell you an example today. There was a company in New Zealand, and they gave AWS, the experts on AWS, just to assess their architecture, and they paid $20,000 for that. Just to assess. That assessment does not require them to provide them with the recommendation. $20,000 invested. In that company, everybody was mostly solution architect certified, but they went for AWS experts to give them information. Because they don't care about the company's cost, what they care about their own, their architecture is working fine. So you actually got my mind, because this is what I'm looking for my students, that they should be able to know which is good for the company and which is not good for the company. You can always increase the cost by having more virtual machines. That is why this generic risk plays very important role. Control of information and then national interest. Now, there is some incident management, but there is another problem going on. Uh, there has been a movement for Maori sovereignty of data, and they link it to the Treaty of Waitangi, section Article 4, or maybe 3, maybe 4, if I'm not wrong. Now, when they are looking into that, they want to make sure that their national interests are looked after. Second national interest is Section 22 of tax law, which does not allow you to move your data outside New Zealand. And government is sometimes they allow, sometimes they don't allow. But majority of the government institutions which are using unrestricted or restricted information, they are using the cloud services. The other generic risk is compliance, whether how your company is going to make sure that you're compliant with the local requirements, the regulations, the contractual obligations, the legislative. For example, you have a data in Australia, and Australia changes the law and say that any data which is resident in Australia will not go outside Australia. At that stage, you will be in deep problem by understanding that, okay, no, we can't move the data, we can't access that now. And this could be a big problem for you, because compliance is something that you have to work around. Then we have governance. Now, in ICT, management is all about governance. How are you going to do how do you go? Because when you're using the cloud services, things are not visible to you from the cloud service provider perspective. You're using the systems, you're using virtual machines, but you at the back end, you don't have visibility what Amazon is doing with your data. And this was done in way back in 2009. This was a big problem, and it's still a problem. I give its example. I was doing a cloud security alliance meeting with the all the members, and there was an outage in Amazon at that time in 2009, and that outage was somehow was triggered by a attack. So when there is an attack in cloud services, there was a common thing happened all across the world, that if a hacker is able to compromise the system, he may be able to access different arrays of disks. Because at that time, there was no multi-tenant architecture. Like, you cannot segregate one tenant from the other tenant. So this is the big problem. When government goes in and tries to collect the evidence, they are not able to get it, because if they are getting for one customer, they might be getting for 100 customers. And it is still a problem all across the world if we are not using the multi-tenant architecture. So this governance is very important for that, because you want to see how you can control the data, right? Then incident recovery is another generic route. It is very important, because because there will be a penetration testing exercise where you will be testing a server, and you will be looking at whether the server can recover the attack. In the start of cloud computing, it was very difficult to recover a massive attack coming from the hackers, but now it's easier. Amazon has built up very good infrastructure. But incident recovery is very important, because how long it will take for your company to actually come back to the to run your machines back to power. Okay. Uh, so this generic tool is, whatever it is generating very well. but you will generate these risks based on your requirements. If you're creating anything for the company, you answer these questions based on your scope requirement. So it will be much easier. So based on this risk, you are going to build an architect for the cloud computing and the cloud assignment. So if you go to the next one, which is which one is that? The controls. If you go to the next tab, Irene. Yeah, excellent. Scroll up. ID is 39. You just scroll up. This is the maximum you have. Oh, go move on the left side. See, do you have anything on your left side? Scroll left side. No, click, yeah, box here. Click it. Click, no, not here. Oh, this is A. Okay, I got it now. So if you scroll up, there is no one on the left side. It's 63, 72. Yeah, one. Okay. It starts with ID 9. Okay, now government has, can you make it bigger? It's very good. No, no, no. Stretch the this C.IAM one. Stretch it. Yeah. Yeah, stretch this one. It is very small, so it's not clear. Yeah. If you see that this is the control ID, which is incident, this which is IAM. Now, GCDO is 105 questions that you ask for the to the um, public cloud, but you don't worry about that. So risk is unauthorized access. Control category is access management. Generic control that they're using is encrypt all passwords when stored. Okay. Now, a hacker attacks your system. If he is able to get your passwords and it is in plain text, he will be able to get hold of your information. Now, generic controls mean this control you have to apply when you're designing the architecture. Okay, when you're designing the architecture. So you will use encrypt all controls, encrypt all passwords in that. So this gives you a very good offshoot of how to apply the controls on your system. Am I clear to everyone? Is it clear?
Yep, should be clear, I think.
So it gives you an edge because um, and you can research also that I'll show you something. Let's see. Wait a minute, just Just wait a second. I'm trying to open something for you, but I think so. It's okay. I I couldn't find it. It's a MITRE ATT&CK AWS assessment. Oh my God, it's a MITRE ATT&CK. I put it in the chat window. It gives a matrix, but it will be the same, almost the same, but more technical. Okay. Now I want you to play with this tool and come up with the risks that are available to as per your product. Do we have a class next week or is Easter?
Easter.
Okay. After Easter, I will take your risks and I will define how it should be, a risk assessment should be done. I will take two risks from you, your side, and two risks from the other team. Okay, from Irene team. Irene, you are with the Young team, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll take the two risks, both of you. I'll draw the table in front of you and I'll explain you how to assess the risks. Based on that risk, you are going to create a prototype architecture for cloud computing that, and you will, that's based on your assignment. And then you build up the cost analysis and then you implement. Now, when you implement that, that's much easier because you will only select one control for each of you and you will implement that in the cloud environment, which is your AWS exercise. So it looks like, yeah, you guys are doing pretty good job. Um, yeah, that's all from me today. I just want to introduce you to cloud risks. You can do your own research also, find some risks that are applicable to you. okay, that are equivalent to your products. Any questions? Any questions?
So with the implementation part, Rizwan,
Yeah.
do we have access to being able to do it in AWS, or will we have access to being able to do it? Or is it more just a theory?
So you can use the same lab environment and try to do it over there. Okay. There is some lab portion available to me. I will check with AWS. I will open it for you.
Okay, we'll revisit that. I get the gist of that. So okay, so yeah.
Even if you're doing multi-factor authentication, there's an exercise of multi-factor authentication, right?
There's like a lab thing you can go into at the bottom as
You
well,
just
I think.
you can when you are doing that, just take the screenshots, because MFA implementation across Amazon is like this everywhere. Okay, if you are using VPC, you can develop the VPC and do the same thing. But I think so there is a lab portion in Amazon which actually does that. I'll check it out with Amazon guys and I'll come back to you.
Yeah, we'll check next class. Yep, no, that's cool.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Okay. I'm done. Okay, guys.
Cheers, Rizwan.
Next time, please come with your cloud risk. These are very important. Then it will save your time. I gave you some better options. Okay. Okay,
Yep.
guys.
Thanks,
See you
Rizwan.
after the Easter. Enjoy your Easter break. Okay.
Likewise. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.